Welcome to NintendoCade channel. I am Danny.
Evelyn.
And today we just got back from the movies. We saw the one that we've been waiting for since 1993. I'm just kidding.
What?
2023. Because the 1993 was the first Super Mario Bros. Movie that we're not going to be talking about today.
I never watched it.
That's okay. You don't need to watch it.
Okay. I only watched this one.
Yeah, Evelyn watched the 2023 one. And I hope you guys did as well. But we're going to give you guys our thoughts on the movie, on various things that we saw. If you guys are curious about our thoughts, this is definitely your episode. And of course, it's good to be back on another NintendoCade Direct Talk with you guys.
That's right. And this is where you could share your thought. And of course, we're going to leave it non-spoiler.
Yes, this is going to be non-spoiler, so you guys can watch this all the way to the end and not worry about, we're not going to mention anything like no plots. Nothing that will, pretty much you go in there, you're going to be totally surprised as you never watched the movie. If you did, then even better.
Absolutely. And also that's because some people haven't watched yet, so we want to be respectful to others so that they could watch and enjoy and have the same experience that when we watch it first time, when you watch it the first time. I would say just go in and it's one of a kind experience. Yeah, and you will never forget
and
that.
And cheer for this guy here.
I know. I was so
Cute Toad, right?
It's so cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Since you mentioned Toad, should we start with characters? We talk about characters from the movie. Wow. It's
a staple of all the Mario characters. The basic fundamental characters that you expect to see. The enemies and stuff like that. If you watch the trailer, you kind of know what to expect when you go into the movie. But what I can say is, at least from my experience watching it, the animation or the characters looks fantastic. It is like you thinking when you play video games, you would think like it's gonna look at least that. Yes. And it is that and some more.
Yeah, absolutely. You would recognize all the characters there because you play Mario games and things that appears in there. And I actually was just enjoying, especially seeing little man Toad and all the toads in there. It's just so adorable. Did you say that? Aren't we adorable?
Aren't we adorable?
No, Danny, don't voice it, please.
I'm sorry, I can't do the high pitch, Toad voice here. Each character had their own voices because they had their own voice actor, which I will get in a moment. But we'll reiterate the animation for each emotions, the expressions are well done. It is Illumination Studios. They have done in the past. They specialize in that. I guess that's why Nintendo chose this studio to work with them. I mean, on top of that, with Universal Studios. But at the same time, I thought that right from the get-go, this is better than any video game that we have seen so far. We advanced quite a bit in graphics from the NES to the Nintendo Switch, right? You've seen your characters come alive in video games. You control it, interact the world that they're in. They breathe in that world. But this is like its own category in itself, and I can see that the progression of technology is just amazing when the lighting, the shadows, the emotions, how they interact with each other, like they grin, they smile, all that emotion shows very well.
I agree. Yes, I agree. Like in terms of we're playing the latest Mario game on the Nintendo Switch is Super Mario Odyssey, and a lot of time that you can see the characters and then what Danny said, the expression. But when it came to the movie, oh my goodness, it's like you already have in your head thinking about the character because you grew up playing a lot of the Mario games. But now we have voices on top of that.
Yeah, the voices were. I know Evelyn is very divisive about one character in particular, about their voice. We all know Chris Pratt played as Mario, and various other cast was announced for each character. I'm blanking out on the top of my head, but you guys know who the actors are. Bowser with Jack Black, so on and so forth, right? But I know that. I'll get to Evelyn in a moment, but I think, this is the thing. When we first heard of the character's voice, it was taking quite a bit to get used to because we all know Charles Martinet. If you don't know him, he is the voice of Mario for a long time now. We all gotten used to his very type of voice that he portrayed for Mario and various other characters in the Mario universe. So we have a vision of how it should be sound. So obviously someone taking off the mantle is going to be quite difficult. Chris Pratt, as I was watching, I start to forget how they sound, and I'm starting to get immersed in the movie itself instead of just like, oh, his voice is this, his voice is that. At the beginning, yes, I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like the Mario I grew up with. But then again, as the action takes place on screen, you tend to forget about that. You get into the zone, like you're playing a video game, and you forget about anything else. You're just right in the zone of what's happening on screen.
Yes, I do agree with that part because back then when they announced about the voice actor, but in our mind, because we've been playing all these Mario games for 35 years already, right?
Yeah,
and then
over 35 at this point.
Yeah, over 35
Yeah.
at this point. So in your mind, it's like you never heard of this character's voices and having, right, in that mind, keep thinking about, no, I hear, let's go, it's a me, Mario, and all that. But now that they speak a full sentence and way beyond that.
A lot more.
And honestly, when we were both watching the movie, we didn't think about the voice actors.
Right.
I think they did an amazing job. They did because it just immersed us into it, and I just think about my mind. Oh, that's Mario, that's Luigi, that's Princess Peach, Bowser, Toad. Amazing job. And Donkey Kong as well.
Donkey Kong, yeah. I know that I never heard of Donkey Kong's voice. I mean, you know, like a gorilla kind of voice. That's all you pretty much heard him. I mean, not counting the cartoon, okay? I'm just saying, like modern day, you never really heard Donkey Kong's voice. So Seth Rogen did his thing with Donkey Kong. I thought it was fine. I didn't really, I couldn't judge, to be honest.
No.
But you would I would probably say one thing though. I would probably, or at least some people would expect like a deeper voice when you talk about like a gorilla, you know, like that kind of thing. Maybe that's the case.
Too. Yeah.
But I'm totally fine with that. But I know Evelyn was divisive on one character. It's one of my favorite characters in the Mario universe is Princess Peach, right?
I think it's because since I've been playing games and I always hear not really much of a Princess Peach voice in saying much. And also because the games I grew up playing, the Mario one, I never heard Princess Peach talking.
Well, you do hear her quite a bit more, at least for me, the first time was Mario 64 on Nintendo 64.
I never played that
one.
So.
You get that when you first start the game and you get to hear she read a letter to Mario. That's the voice I expect to hear. But I thought it was, I mean, like I said, once I got into the movie, I didn't really think about the voices entirely. It's like just immersed into what I'm seeing with the adventure.
But I do love how Princess Peach in there is the main thing of the story, also made her powerful, and then she really did very well done on that voice acting. Because back in the games, you always hear Princess Peach she
takes a like. You don't really see a good role.
Like a royalty, like
royalty,
like that.
Sit down, you know.
So you don't really hear them like screaming or action-wise. So
more emotions, right?
Right. So in this movie, I see that. Wow, I see more characters of her in there. So
one thing I will critique though, and I'm still thinking about it, is the look of Princess Peach. In some scenes, in some frames, you look at her, she looks like Princess Peach.
Yes.
And then there's some other frames, it looks like some other princesses that you ever, it doesn't represent her, look right. Something about it, I don't know what to pinpoint about it. Maybe the eyes.
I think it's the eyes.
Maybe the way she expressed herself. In terms of the animation, not the voice, I just want to be clear about that. It looks not exactly what I would expect from Princess Peach. So if my critique, that's the only thing I would say, it's out of character a little bit and more like you see with other princesses in other franchises that looks akin to that. I mean, obviously the outfit, the look, in general, it is Princess Peach, but there's something I can't pinpoint. Even right now, I'm like, as we're talking about it, like, I'm okay. I'm not like the end of the world or anything that, but I think it's okay, you know, yeah.
It was not through the whole movie. It was just a certain
like sequences.
Yes. I think it's the eyes.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was fine.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about another category. What do you think? What do you want to talk? Music. Okay, so music-wise, great music. It's a movie, and with that, they had the input of Koji Kondo, one of the, I guess I could call him the founding fathers of Mario music. I should say modern and regular classic Mario music, right? They work together with the studio and with a movie composer, so they get the feel, the tone. I thought that they captured it perfectly.
Right.
When a current character comes out or certain things that happen on screen, it conveys energy, power, and then softer parts where they use the classic Mario themes, and that's perfectly well done as well.
Yes, I think the music was perfectly in every situation. If you watch the movie, you're gonna know.
Yeah.
It really caught. I think throughout the movie, when we were watching it, I always looked at it and I'm like that music, because
Yes.
you grew up playing so much of the games that that's engraved in your head, and then suddenly you just hear it recognizes it right in the spot, like within 1 second. I tell you that. A lot of the music, from beginning to the end, I recognize a lot.
I think the key thing is, the more Mario games you played in its history, the more you will appreciate this movie more, because you're going to be recognizing a lot of things that from orally, like from your ears to visually, and you can put that together. It's literally a fest for fans of Mario games. So again, like if you only play the modern games like Super Mario Odyssey or even couple earlier ones,
right?
Not all the way to the NES or anything like that, or even in the arcade, the Donkey Kong arcade, you may not recognize a lot of the things. But if you're like me, who grew up from the Stone Age and then still living to this day, you get a kick out of the movie because you see a lot of things, you hear a lot of things, and I think we have praise for the music. I think the sound effects is another thing that we gotta mention about.
Yes, that was awesome.
It's on point. Like hitting the question mark block, or like the punching sounds,
Bowser,
everything, like the fireball,
yes,
not flame, I should say, and all that stuff. It's on point, just like in the games and some more. Because obviously, it's a movie, they gotta expand the sound effects that's happening on screen, but everything that from pipes to every single sound that you kind of recognize from the Mario universe is represented very well. And you hear the coin, you know it's the coin, right? You won't miss that.
Yes.
So the team worked together very well, and I think that's one thing I want to mention. Like, since Nintendo is really hands-on with this movie with Illumination Studios, I think that they got the right balance of movie sounds and game sounds blended in a way that's not obnoxious or out of place. So if you know what I mean, like sometimes there's a boundary between like how can they make a movie soundtrack work well, but also represent the game well. And I think this movie did that a good job.
Yes.
All right.
I know you mentioned a little bit about that. If you start watching it from the beginning all the way to the end, and if you grew up playing Mario games as well from back then, 35 plus years, or you just recently playing the modern ones, there's a lot of Easter eggs in the movie.
Oh yes.
From the beginning till the end.
Right from the very beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, you see that? I'm like, oh yes, I see it very clearly. I was smiling from the beginning to the end, because being like an old folk like myself, playing the arcades, NES, and up to modern day Nintendo Switch, playing a lot of Mario games, obviously, you see references from other things. I'm not gonna say what it is.
Yeah, we're not saying it.
Other things, as well as things that we kind of seen recently as well. So just I guess if you didn't watch it, use your imagination. If you do know what I'm talking about, it brings warm, fuzzy feelings in me when I saw those things. It's the nostalgia that kicked in very hard for me.
That's the word, nostalgia.
Yeah.
And then it was so much of that, and also the action, that it was non-stop for our eyes. It was just like, oh, look, or hear it. There was so many things like that.
The action sequences are really insane, like meaning a good insane. Like, but one thing I will say though is non-stop action, straight up from almost essentially from the beginning to the end. I will say that it keeps you on your toes. So you gotta keep your eyes peeled. If you blink an eye, you might miss a detail. That's how I felt going in.
Well, if you didn't watch it yet, now you keep that in your mind, and then you pay attention more. If you watch already, perhaps you could watch it again, and you probably will encounter or see things that you missed the first time. Yeah,
it's gonna be, when you first run through it, you might miss those details. And I think that with Evelyn, sometimes she mentions me after the movie, like, oh, I missed that. And that's why now that we have a good buddy there and knows what the game's about, the movie's about, you have a good discussion, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What else are we gonna move on to?
I think we just talk about the story.
Yeah.
And
The story is a very, I would say, a very simple one. But, you know, in terms of a movie, I thought it fit well for the Mario universe, especially because Mario is not really known for its story. It's not like an RPG where it engross like many things. They kept a very simple premise and they run along with it all the way from the beginning to the end. I think that works well because, you know, when you pop in a Mario game, usually you save like I'll just use the NES Mario Bros for example. You save the princess.
You save the princess.
Yeah, from the beginning to end, you know that is the plot. And I think that's the same premise that they run along with. Though it's very simple. Even if you have someone very young or someone very old, you get into it very quickly. There is maybe, if you want to take a critical eye on that might be lacking for a movie because if you don't know, if you're not into the Mario universe as much, or you're not into video games, or you're not into playing games in general, if you're just a general audience viewer, that might be a little lacking. I'm gonna be look at a different perspective as well.
Right.
I will give you guys generalized outlook at the end, meaning like as a fan and also as someone who didn't really get into Mario games, as an example, right?
Yes. Yeah, I do agree with Danny in that part too, because if we love Mario games and we play all of them, this is a perfect movie because we understand what is it. And I love the part that they try to make a story. I mean, how complex can they make it? It's Mario, right? But at the same time, I love how they're trying to incorporate a lot of like the games that you play. Like we mentioned many times, but it is so true.
They packed as much as they could.
What is it? An hour and a half?
In an hour and a half frame time.
So even if you never play any of the Mario games, only any of the platform games, right? You only play Mario Kart. You recognize it.
You'll see things from there. You play the original NES Mario, you'll see things from there. You have caricature from different Mario. Not every character in the Mario universe is represented. I just want to be clear about that. You know, at least the main one is there. I'll tell you guys that. So if you're expecting to see like maybe a cameo, you might. You don't know. You have to keep your eyes peeled. I think that's a key thing that going into this movie here.
Just keep your eye peeled for an hour and a half.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Put some eye drops before you watch it because you're going to get dry because you're going to keep the eyes peeled. Walk my word.
So I told Danny they did an excellent job on that part, packing so many games in one movie. Showing representation of Mario. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we covered that. So now I'm going to give you guys a other side of the coin. I think that, so being a fan, I enjoyed it. Evelyn enjoyed it as well. But now, if you're not a video game fan, you're not a Mario fan in general, you went into the movies, I can see the criticism that can happen. Like the story is not very in depth at all. It's very basic. Not a lot of things happening with the story. Because to be honest, it's one idea and they ran along with it. The characters go on their adventure and hopefully solve that problem, if you will, if there's any problem, right? So everything's on the surface and it's not very depth. There's no development of characters as much. If you want to know more about Mario's life, that ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna say that. If you want to know more about Princess Peach's life or how Bowser's life is, that ain't gonna happen. So it's very surface level. So I can see that for obviously a movie fan, that might be a turnoff.
Because they would think about something that really deep story.
Yeah.
But then that, for Mario, it's not how deep the story can it be.
Right. So I was talking about the action before, and the action is incredible. But for its pacing though, the only thing I can say, my criticism is the pacing it's like, how can I describe it? And I go, you go into an amusement park, you're on a roller coaster, you get on a roller coaster, you go up that hump, right? And you keep flowing all the way through. Just think of it that way. It never stops until the ride ends at the end. And that's how I felt with the movie. Because the moment it starts, it's nice and gentle, gets in, tells you about their environment and stuff like that. And then kaboom, 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 right one after the next. And it doesn't stop. The adrenaline rush from the beginning to the end is essentially non-stoppable. So I think the pacing, it's like an amusement park. and it may not fit very well for a very average, movie watcher. For us, hey,
Oh, no,
more
I
eye candy,
loved
the
it.
more action, the more fun it is, the greater
Yes.
it is. Because we're so used to it as a video game, you want that action-packed part happening when you're playing a game.
Yes.
So I think that they took that concept and then put it into the movie. The pacing is whack in terms of
Non-stop.
non-stop, whack like you would never expect, and you do not, like I kept saying, you don't want to blink an eye. That's how I felt from the very beginning.
But I think for a gamer, I think it's fine. It's
For a gamer,
perfect.
it's fine.
I
yeah.
love it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do give it 2 thumbs up to
Yeah.
the movie.
Oh my god.
I'm
thinking about it.
I actually felt that I smiled from the beginning all the way to the last second, literally. And to be honest, when we were watching it, we have someone laughing so much, like so loud. And this person, I think this person is like 30 plus years
It's a
old.
fan. I'm sure
It's
it
a
is.
fan,
Yeah.
But had a great time. And the other side of the room, we had someone sitting, I think it was right next to you too.
Yes.
It was a kid. It was like, I think it was probably 7 years old, 8 years old, around there. And then the moment I finished the movie, the kid turned around to the mom. It's like, Mom, it was a great movie, right?
The mom probably won't know. She didn't really give a quick response.
Yeah, she did it.
yeah.
But you could tell a kid would enjoy it and an adult would enjoy it as
Yeah.
well too.
But in general, it's a family movie.
Yes.
Yeah, don't expect like crazy plots. Don't expect like slow pacing. It is a very high octane movie. If you want a cozy movie, this ain't for you. This is straight up all fun. And the more you experience Mario games throughout your life, the more you appreciate this movie more. It is certainly better than the 1993 movie. I'll tell you that. I'm not gonna say anything about that movie, but this is definitely miles and leagues beyond that one. Evelyn never watched it. That's fine. You don't need to watch it. Maybe I'll pop it in one time to give you some giggles and laughter or sorrow. Like that's the nightmare.
But this movie, I gotta say, it brought a lot of smile. You want fun,
You got
smile.
emotional at the end with the music.
Yes.
Yeah.
The music hits you hard in there because I think that was one of, oh my goodness.
The
I was thinking about-
nostalgia
yes.
kicked in for Evelyn. I didn't expect that. Obviously, I was filming at the end of the movie, and I was like, oh my goodness, what happened to Evelyn? What did she do? She's like a little teary looking. I was like, oh my God, did I?
I think it's the music, and since I grew up playing the game, and it just like to see in 2023, I'm watching a movie that a game that I played when I was a kid. And that brings back like so much grief. Oh my God, I'm just thinking about that. And also, I reading the credits. That brings, oh my goodness, I was so nostalgic.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the credits at the end about conclusion of this video. So if you really want to see it, just watch this video to the very end. We'll show you that end credit screen, one frame.
Just one.
One frame, and then you get to see if you missed it. If you guys didn't watch it and you left the sometimes when you go into a movie theater, once you see the movie credits, you peace out, you run away. I highly recommend you stay to the very end, go through the credits.
Like very
to the very end, yes.
Until like when they turn on the light.
Yes.
And then
they kick you out.
Then you could go.
Then you could go. Because I think it's worthwhile for you to check it out. If you know what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
Don't say it.
Right.
Please do not say it,
Right.
or else we have to hold your comment, put it on the hold, because we want people to see that.
Yeah.
If you didn't see it, you could watch a second time. Make sure you watch it all over to
Or
the
watch
end.
it when it comes to streaming services and physical media. So yeah, that's a way to go. So in terms of our thoughts of it, I give it a 2 thumbs up.
I already gave it.
Evelyn gave it 2 thumbs up before I even asked her what's her thoughts about it. I give it 2 thumbs up, like old school style. A movie review. So this is kind of like my first review on the channel of any movie. I think that it is unprecedented. I also want to mention that just recently, I think that it's on pace to gross very highly in the box office. So hopefully it breaks some records. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm telling you this from the past. I guess by the time you watch this, and You know, it's gonna be exciting to see how it performs in the box office.
know.
Right? That's gonna be very interesting.
I know. I don't think I've been so excited about a movie until this one. It just took a Mario movie for us to kind of go to a movie theater for a long time.
You know, one of you guys asked me, you know who you are. You asked me, Danny, how's it feel to be back in the movie theaters for such a long time? And you know, it took me a Mario movie to get me back. It's been at least 4 or 5 years at least. I think I don't know, 5, 6 years, something like that. Yeah, since I've been into a movie theater because, you know,
not only that, Danny made a reservation.
I made a reservation. I got my seat and everything.
Usually we don't do reservation.
I just sit whatever, you know, it's fine.
Not for this one.
Not this one. I want a front and center seat. Get that audio fidelity, visual audio fidelity at its peak, you know. And I thought that it was nice and a nice experience. You know, it's similar to what I have at my home. That's the reason why I don't really go to movie theaters because I have a big screen. I also have the surround sound experience as well. But I thought it was nice to
you gotta
do it for Mario.
Yes.
The super large screen. The experience is I guess it's once a lifetime because I don't know if Nintendo's gonna ever make another movie. Hopefully this is not the last time, but if it performs well in the box office, I'm sure Universal is gonna be like, hey, Miyamoto-san, one more time? One more time?
One more time?
One more time?
Just like the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Wait,
one
more announcement.
One more announcement. You never know. So, hey, you guys speak volumes if you will watch the movie in the theaters. I think that's where Nintendo and possibly Illumination Studios again to work on a sequel. You never know. Or maybe work on another franchise that we hold dear and beloved in our hearts.
Yeah, why not? We welcome it. So yeah, one thing I want to share with you guys that if you've been watching all our adventure, that I think we upload a couple of adventure and then events that we were invited to before the movie was released. If you watch that and also you watch the movie, you could puzzle a lot of things in terms of like how the movie production, they actually did events in certain places and certain locations.
Yeah, I'm grateful for for them to invite us to these things. That was really nice of them. I have so much things to share, but I think that the video speaks volumes. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. We went to a Shake Shack, one of them, and that was all from the movie. We also went to the Nintendo's New York store. We saw a Boots reveal.
Yes, in the van too.
In the van, the real van. That's crazy. I love it. Those memories put together, I'll probably will never forget. And now my memories of 1993 is kind of like behind the curtains now. Yeah, so leave me down below in the comments what are your thoughts of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Did you get to watch it? Did you enjoy it? What are your thoughts about it? Did you disagree with us or agree? It's okay to disagree with it. That's totally fine. Everyone has their opinion on that because when it comes to movies or games, everyone's subjective based on their experience, on their taste, based on all kinds of factors that I can't seem to imagine, right? I know that everyone likes a certain thing or wants a certain thing, and but at least that's how we thought about it. I thought it was a very enjoyable movie overall. It may not appeal to everyone, definitely not appeal to everyone like anything in the world, but I think that for a gamer, it'll definitely be a fun ride. You'll at the very least, I think that you can go out with a smile, at least a smile, a little bit a tickle in you. If you don't, you have no heart, you have no soul as a gamer at all. You're just like cynical, man. I'm serious. That's how I ended off with that. Right?
Yes, I agree with you.
There you go. So if you guys enjoy our NintendoCade Direct talk, we appreciate a thumbs up. Let me know the feedback that you like these type of long form videos. It could be like a podcast if you want to call it that way. It is like a podcast.
It is. Yeah. That is where you could share your thoughts and anything like that. That's what we call it. Direct talk with you.
Yeah, yes. I definitely read all the comments, Evelyn as well. Subscribe if you haven't done so, consider that if you like this kind of stuff. As always, I'm Danny.
Evelyn.
At the NintendoCade channel. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you again next time. Bye guys.